The following podcast is not affiliated with the developers who have created the games being reviewed. The reviews are solely the opinions of the hosts to be used to make an educated decision on what games to download and play.
Hey gamers! Are the microtransactions of life getting you down? All this buzz around cryptocurrency, but no idea what to go with. It's time that you check out the GMR Zone, a weekly podcast for all things that are GMR. What is GMR, you're asking? Well, it's the premier cryptocurrency that's made for gamers by gamers. And GMR is no ordinary token.
Do you want to learn more about the unique tokenomics that feature instant rewards for holders? Plus exclusive content from the upcoming GMR Center, which will be taking the gaming world by storm soon. Then you're going to want to listen to the GMR Zone podcast. That's G as in golf, M as in Mike, R as in Romeo, Zone podcast. Be sure to search for it in your favorite podcast app and follow or subscribe.
Hello, gamers, and welcome to Budget Arcade, the number one free-to-play gaming podcast in the world. I'm Scott.
My name is also Scott. I mean Jeff.
And I am also Jeff. I mean Mark.
And welcome to episode number 94. Just to recap, we play a free-to-play game every other week, and then we rate and review it. Mark, what was this week's game?
Oh, this week we played Pokemon Unite. I mean, Contra Returns.
I wish we just played Pokemon Unite again.
Yeah, so
and you and I can have that vicious argument one more time.
Vicious. Finish him.
On one-sided, it was vicious. I was very mean.
You were mean.
And
so mean.
Unhinged in that episode.
Very unhinged.
And I think it people like it.
Oh,
so.
Okay. All right. What was developed? This game, Contra Returns, was developed by Timmy Studios. They developed
back-to-back Timmy games.
Yeah, back-to-back. Hey, you know, Scott, you got to work on some sponsorship. Maybe they can throw some money to the pod.
Yeah, not after I get done with this game.
I highly doubt that. They're owned by Tencent. Tencent's not going to give us any money. They're making enough money hand over fist without any.
Not off this game.
Measly little podcast.
Wait
going,
till I
hey.
get to this game.
But other games that they have developed, as we've mentioned, Pokemon Unite, Call of Duty Mobile, The Legend of Dragon Mobile. It is a run-and-gun platformer. It was released worldwide July 27th, 2021 on the iOS and Android devices.
So, Mark, I know you don't like old things.
I'm a very much a new things guy.
You are very much a new things guy. Did you play Contra? Do you have any relationship to the game whatsoever?
What, on the SNES?
The NES?
At all. It was on the NES, it was on the SNES.
Yeah, I think
there was Operation C on the Game Boy.
Yeah, I remember playing on the SNES.
Yeah, great game.
That was what?
The Clone
Super
Wars.
Contra, right?
Super Contra, the Clone Wars.
Yep.
That's the one that George Lucas made.
Is that
but
the one
I
that
mean,
the
I
Death Star
grew
blows
up.
up?
No, it's just because it's called the Clone Wars. I mean, I played the original. Like, I remember being a kid, and I had my NES, and I had my copy of Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, the best NES game, full stop.
Here's the real test, Jeff.
I'm not done.
Mark, what's the Konami code?
Oh, yeah, do you know the Konami code?
You.
Damn.
Bleep that out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Okay.
Jeff, I need that soundbite from the other episode that you guys did on Draft Movie House.
Yeah, I could send it.
You should.
How about down, left, right, BA? If you're playing two-player, you would hit select and then start.
That's two BAs with two players as well.
Is it?
Yeah, you had to do BA. Select start.
Okay, well, anyway, The reason I bring us back, because Scott and I have a fondness for Contra. And Mark...
I don't.
Doesn't like fun.
I don't.
I don't know what else to say.
I don't have a fondness for Contra.
Contra
is not the type of game that meant to be for Mark.
It was legendary as a kid because I heard about Contra before I ever played it. And you might say,
this is true.
But I had an NES and we're playing Ninja Turtles at my house. This is before I even met you, Scott. So I was like 7.
Yeah.
And my neighbor across the street's like, yeah, but have you played Contra? I'm like, what the heck is Contra? And then I got my hands on it and it was amazing. Side-scrolling.
Contra's the first one that actually made the Konami code popular too, right?
Not Gradius. Life Force maybe was in that.
What
Life Force?
Was it? I don't remember using it ever. Life Force. I remember using it in Contra.
Yeah, I think
Double Dragon.
Yeah, I think Contra made it the household thing that it is now. But I don't know if it was the first one, but it certainly made it popular. All that being said, is that Konami, as we knew it, is dead. And what's in its place is a company that takes something that we loved as a child, and shoehorns in a bunch of microtransactions, throws in a gacha system, and dumps it onto your phone.
Gameplay.
This game is a run and gun side-scrolling shooter. Like Mark said, it's Contra. It plays like Contra, but on mobile, which, as you can imagine, is not a particularly great situation. So you have a left digital thumbstick and a right digital thumbstick that you would use to shoot. And then you have various controls around that thumbstick. So it actually very much kind of controls in a similar fashion to like Wild Rift, but not good. And there's a reload, right? Like, so all your guns have stats now, right? So it's Contra the RPG, which if someone said that to me, I'd be like, oh, cool. But then they'd say it's on your mobile phone and it's made by Timmy. I'd be like, oh, it's ruined then, because that's what this is. So this game actually made me want to cry when I booted it up and I'd start playing and I'd beat the level and then there'd be these tickets I'd get and it'd tell me I can level up my... It's like, okay, I know you like Raid Redemption, Mark, and I'm not trying to go back to that, but it has those same systems that Raid Redemption has, where you level up your stuff.
Shadow Legends, right?
Raid Redemption's that movie, Mark, that you told me to watch. Raid Shadow Legends has, where you level up your gun, you level up your character, you're grinding, and not in a fun way, and you're beating shorter Contra levels, which makes sense on mobile, but you have a health bar. And you might say, reloading and a health bar? Why are you bringing that up, Jeff? Because that stuff isn't in Contra. Contra is one-hit kills. You're dead. And you have 3 lives.
Now, there is a one-hit kill mode.
There probably is.
There is.
Contra also doesn't have a reload. It's spray and pray. It's the arcadiest of arcade. And I think the reason there's a reload mechanic is a way to add an additional statistic to guns, as to say, okay, now you can pay to reduce your reload.
Well, not only that, they're like when you pick up a different gun in the game as you're playing, that gun only has so many bullets in it before it runs out. Whereas Contra, the original Contra, you pick up the spreader gun and you just keep spray praying until you die. That's when you lose that gun.
Yeah, okay, so all that being aside, maybe if the game plays good, it's worthwhile, but it's not. And the big problem here is the controls. The right thumbstick to aim is another thing that's not really Contra. Usually you do the left thumbstick and you run and gun and spray. And I think they could have done that. They'd have to create the levels to fit that. But the right thumbstick on this is so unresponsive and hard to aim. I hate it. And it makes the game more difficult, and not because the game is supposed to be difficult, but because the controls fight you.
Well, not only that, the jumping mechanic is so hard to do while you're shooting. And it's just like, what the heck am I supposed to do here? You know what they should have done? They should have made it auto fire with the jump mechanic, and then you run around that way.
Okay, so let's say that there's this, right? So the jump button is right above the aim button, so you can't jump and shoot, which is something else that's in Contra. Now, what about if you have, now this is on mobile and we all know that, but I hooked up my Kishi Razor, that is not a flex, but I have the controller thing you wrap around your phone, and it essentially turns your phone into the Nintendo Switch. And I'm like, if this works, this game might actually be playable. It doesn't at all. It just doesn't have controller support.
Disappointing.
So you don't like this game because it inconvenienced you.
Oh my God, Mark. Sometimes, Mark, oh my God, dude. Just, okay, tell me what you like about it, because I feel like I'm hurting your feelings by telling you this game is trash.
No, I played this game.
If a video game inconveniences you,
yeah,
that is a totally valid reason to hate it.
Okay.
But Mark, what did you
your
think
complaints
about the
are
game?
noted. Again. So I liked the fact that I'm not tied down to nostalgia with this IP.
I'm going to go on break.
Fair enough.
And I can actually look at things objectively and say, hey, this is...
Oh, and I can't!
Hold on, Jeff. Let him speak. Continue, Mark. I'm curious. I'm really curious to hear what you have to say now, because not tying it to nostalgia. Let's hear what you have to feel about this game.
Sure. I thought, now the controls valid. It's a valid complaint. The controls could have been better. However, I felt like there's enough to do in game that where I could get past the control fiasco. And I didn't think the jump mechanic. I didn't mind it. It's a jump button. You just got to time your jumps right. And the aim mechanic, meh, it's okay. I like the ability to switch guns in fight. I don't remember the original Contra games if you could switch guns midway.
You could in Super C, because you could pick up to 2 different guns and you could switch back and forth between those 2 guns.
And hardcore,
and hardcores,
on Genesis, which is my personal favorite Contra game, probably because it's on Genesis, the greatest system of all time.
Also noted. So the gameplay I didn't find like as much fault with you as you did, Jeff. With it, it could have been better, yes. However, I felt like the gameplay was okay enough to where I could get past it and I could enjoy the levels for what they were, which at certain times they were chaotic. There's a multitude of different bad guys throughout the different levels. You got machines, you got regular soldier dudes, you've got zombies, you've got different creature type things.
Gun emplacements.
Yeah, no, I mean
robots.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in game.
Fortresses that you have to shoot up.
Yeah, like the big machine things at the end of the levels, whatever. I didn't pay attention at all to the story that was trying to be told. I didn't care.
That part, and that is another thing, is like they'd have these cutscenes. Contra didn't have that. Some of the newer ones might have, but the good ones, you didn't need all that. You just got in the game and you blew things up.
Yeah, I don't even remember if there was an actual storyline in the original Contra.
I'm probably in the manual.
Yeah, that's usually what they did back in the day, is put it in the manual. All your story was tied to the manual. And if you didn't have the manual, you had no story.
Yep. Out of luck.
The different game modes, there's the RPG element of being able to level up your character. There's a number of different characters you can play as. Then you have the guns, a multitude of different guns that you can level up as well. Different I mean, I think there was even different effects for your character that you could level up.
Yeah, I think each one had like a special ability, if I'm not mistaken, and you could level up those abilities.
And then there's
again, a la Raid Shadow Legends.
And then there's different game modes. Like there's the one-hit kill mode that alludes to the original Contra, and it's more like a time trial type thing. How far can you go and how much time? There's 1v1. There's the multi. Essentially, it's a tournament style type game mode. To me, it could the game be better? Yes. Is this a pile of game? No, I don't think so.
You are fined 1 credit for
You're pushing the envelope there, Mark.
As all
He
good
forgets which
PG-13
podcast
moves.
he's on.
This is just a hard PG-13 episode. All right. I get one
Jeff, send me that
F-bomb,
audio.
one F-bomb an episode,
All right.
and a couple of So that's my second one. I'm out.
That's enough. Good lord.
I'm out. I don't have any more. I can't use them. I've reached the limit of the PG-13.
I have
There's
nothing
no-
else to say about
But
this
we're not PG-13. We're
Hot
PG.
bag.
Oh,
That's
so
right.
You changed the rating. That's like,
No, we
well,
didn't.
are we 90s
We've
PG?
always been PG.
Are we 90s PG?
No.
Yeah, we're
when
90s.
PG-13 was introduced. You're
So
thinking
we're-
of
we're
early
PG. We're PG post 2005.
Hitchcock chronologically is PG-13. Okay. This show has always been PG since day one.
The future of gaming is already here, and it's powered by crypto. Buy games, stream, and unlock exclusive content through the GMR Center, and tune into the GMR Zone podcast wherever you prefer to listen. Learn more at gmr.finance.
Homemade chili is a quick and tasty family meal with Meyer brand. Start with a 28-ounce can of Meyer crushed tomatoes, a can of black beans, and a pouch of our authentic chili seasoning mix. Combine and simmer for about 20 minutes. Top with Meyer shredded sharp cheddar cheese and a dollop of cool and tangy all-natural sour cream. Then serve with crisp Meyer Select saltines. Discover big taste and bigger savings when you make it a family chili night with Meyer brand.
Paywall.
Paywall.
Replayability.
No, paywall. Okay, so this game, you can purchase just a gacha system. You've got gacha pulls for your characters, but a lot of the characters you could earn as you go through the game. Then you also have your gacha for these guns, and there's like different ratings of guns. There's the highest rating is like an S tier, and then you've got I think it's like A through C or D, something like that. Ultimately, it comes down to common, rare, ultra rare, legendary type of statuses. I think that's all you can purchase, right?
So there were 3 currencies, like you said. There's diamonds, there's coins, which you earn just by playing.
Well, there's energy as well.
Yeah, there's energy, which again, if I have to reiterate, I hate energy systems in games.
They're stupid.
Why is this here? But alas, it is. And there's a lot of games that do it.
Mark would argue that if the game didn't do it, then they're missing out on
let Mark make
money.
that argument himself. But I don't like it. But the thing is that I would never run out of energy because I don't like the game enough to play it that much.
True.
And
They also give you an absurd amount to start out with. So
yeah, usually with games that have energy systems, the only time where you would want them is if you like the game enough to play it that much. So rarely does it affect me, because usually what happens is the type of games that add in this mechanic are the type of games I'd just rather not play.
Yeah, I think there's been one game that I played that had that type of energy system, and I actually got to the point where I ran out of energy, and I'm like, okay, well, what now?
There was a point where the NBA Live mobile game I was playing a good bit, really liked, and then after I started running into those time walls, I just uninstalled it.
I mean, Toon Blast was kind of like that. When it ran out of energy on that, I was like, man, I want to play some more.
Yeah.
hell yeah, you did.
I think that's about it, isn't that right?
I hate this game. Replayability.
Replayability.
I got to level 18 before I hit a grind aspect. So, and it took me a good couple, maybe 2-3 gameplay hours to get to that level. So I feel the game is replayable up until you don't want to grind. Which for a mobile game, 2 to 3 hours of actual gameplay without hitting a wall is I guess a decent amount to me.
That's about
I think I played like an hour breaks and a half worth and didn't want to play after that.
Yeah, we always say this there's a lot to do here if you do like the game and maybe you like to grind, but to me, I don't find the controls intuitive enough to want to keep dumping time into it.
Same.
So, but there is a lot here as a mobile game with a gacha system there's a ton of stuff to unlock, a ton of stuff to level. It'll take you forever to do it if you're going fully free to play. So there's a lot here if you want to do it.
One thing that the game doesn't do well enough, in my opinion, is that it doesn't like I hit this wall where I had to grind. I had to grind to level to get the next level. The game didn't really tell me how to grind. It didn't tell me what game modes gave me experience. It's almost expecting me just to go back and just replay the levels that I had already beaten in order to get experience, and that's not the only way you can get experience. I had to.
It does encourage you to play again because you get a bonus up front for the first time you beat it. And that is a way to grind, is you go back and play earlier levels, which to me, again, is kind of like, when it comes to replayability, that's bad replayability. You know, like, oh, you want to do this again, but I already did that. When it comes to replayability, you have to give me a new experience that I want to dive back into, as opposed to putting something behind either a paywall or a grinding wall that is forcing me to go back and play old content to unlock. To me, that's a bad way to generate replayability. It's like backtracking, like it.
I would say the only time that works is like maybe Super Mario Brothers World, where there's 2 different exits or 3 different exits in a level, and that's why you have to go back and play a level.
Yeah, but at match, you have to do it twice, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And we're not going to compare this game to possibly the second best Mario game.
I wasn't trying to compare it in that way. I was just saying that's the only real reason that you would want to go back and play any levels for any of these types of games.
Yeah.
If there was something more to collect in that level, like if you missed some sort of secret, or you need to go back and collect all the coins, or you need to go back and collect all the stars, or something like that makes it where you want to invest that time to go back and play a level. Otherwise, you're just playing it for experience points, and that's like, it doesn't even feel like the RPG grind. Like the RPG grind, at least you're running around and maybe fighting different monsters, but it's like, let me redo this level 300,000 times just to level up to where I can, do something different later on.
Well, and like, but you brought up Mario, which is like the gold standard of video game controls, right? It's just perfect. It created it. But this is not. And so going back to play it means you have to deal with all the bad things that are already in the game. So it's just one of those, replaying things that you've already done, to me, it's like artificially extending the life of something.
Judgment.
So, at the end of each episode, we decide whether or not the game deserves our seal or not, and requires a 2/3 vote to be denied or approved. Mark, what do you say about this game? Does this get your seal?
So, I look at this game as it's a decent game. That's where I would put it. It's decent. It's got enough to do. It's pleasant to look at. The controls are a negative, but it does enough other things well to me that I can kind of get past that and deal with it. It does hit a wall, and that made me not want to play it. But as a decent game, and having all the different game modes that it has, yeah, I'll give it my seal.
Are you going to keep it on your phone? Because to me, that's the real testament.
Well, that's not a prerequisite.
I mean,
for
you're
my
allowed
seal.
to give your seal, but I am curious if you're going to keep it on your phone. And a follow-up, is Raid Shadow Legends still on your phone?
I don't even remember that game. Raid Shadow.
Memorable.
Yeah.
It's the one where you got in an argument with us and you told us we were being bougie.
Oh, y'all are always bougie.
Holier than thou.
Let's
see. Oh my.
No, Raid the Legend. No, okay, yeah, no, I remember that game. No, that's not on my phone. No, this is not going to be on my phone either. It's only reserved for the best of the best,
which is Toon Blast.
Toon Blast, absolutely.
All right, Jeff, how about yourself?
No, absolutely not. This is an abomination, and it's an insult to Contra, and Konami is dead, and they should sell their IPs.
All right. Well, because of the controls, I'm definitely not going to give it a seal either. It was just it was just too hard for me to be able to dodge bullets with the jump and try to fire and kill things. It just didn't feel Contra enough, and no, doesn't get my seal either.
So if this game puts controller support in, Jeff?
Well, then I would be able to give it a better chance.
Yeah, would you revisit it?
Would I revisit it? No.
With controller support.
Even with controller support, I wouldn't revisit it because there are better Contra games that I can just go and play. Either through, I don't know if any of them are on like the Nintendo Online stuff, but I have the Contra 3 cartridge, there's just better Contra to play. Contra 4 on DS is fantastic. I would just go play those because those are great games. And those are what I want to play when I want to play a Contra game. It's a run and gun, one hit kill. I'm not here for the RPG elements. If I want RPG elements, I'll play an RPG. I just want to run around and shoot things like my name was Rambo.
All right, so Contra Returns is not Budget Arcade approved. We didn't have any commentary this week. Big surprise.
Yeah.
What was the next game, Jeff, that you had suggested?
Yeah, we're going to play. I've got a couple lined up now that I'm going to start taking over. And that way but then again, half the time I pull games up and I'm like, oh, this is terrible. And it's my own fault, but I can't remember any of them off the top of my head. It's, let me find the name. It's Super Animal Royale. It's a 2D top-down twin-stick shooter battle royale game, free to play. You can play it on PC. I want to say Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch as well. I
know it's definitely Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah, Super Animal Royale. Yep. So yeah, Steam, Switch, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox and Xbox Series, as well as Stadia. How about that?
You should play it on some Stadia if you still have it.
I do. Well, Stadia is always with you. That's the thing. It lives in the cloud.
No, but I mean, if you still subscribe to it, you should try it on there.
I don't even know if I need to subscribe to play it. We'll find out. I'll test and see. I have a way to play Stadia. But I will most likely play this like on Switch in bed or something.
Fair enough.
And it's an indie game. I have positive expectations going into this one.
I've seen a couple people stream this game, and it looks fairly promising.
Yeah. And then I have another one I'm going to pitch to you later for the following week, unless we get a big release, like a surprise drop or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's any big ones coming out in the next few weeks.
Well, do you know about any games that you want us to play Boy, that's bad. Find us on Twitter and Instagram at Budget Arcade. Don't forget to check out our TikTok, tiktok.com/Budget Arcade Podcast. That's also Budget Arcade Podcast on Twitch. We're also on Facebook.com/Budget Arcade and BudgetArcade.com, where you can go see a website that has never been updated.
It has not never been updated. Come on.
Not never. That's a double negative.
Yes, it has been updated. It just doesn't get updated very often. Hey, actually, if you want to write for Budget Arcade and review free-to-play games, hey, hit us up on one of those socials.
What's the incentive?
Yeah. Well, how much am I getting paid?
There's no payment.
Okay. What a surprise.
As of right now, there's no incentives, but you could be one of the cool kids like us.
Oh, God, that is not incentivizing anyone.
Well, shut up. I was trying to brainwash some people.
Okay,
Gosh.
well, let's go ahead and do some other pitches right now while we're at it. Check out the movie Draft House, wherever you download podcasts, where Mark and I review movies.
Hey.
Also, Hitchcock Chronicles.
I already pitched that for you. Come on.
No, you did not. Hitchcock Chronologically.
Yes, I did.
On this episode?
Yes.
When?
When I talked about you sending me the audio that you used on that last episode.
Yeah, but you didn't name drop the podcast.
Oh,
I did.
I don't know that you... Has it? Oh, yeah,
I
Demolition
said
Man.
the movie Draft House.
Okay, whatever. But Hitchcock Chronologically, where I'm going through every single one of Alfred Hitchcock's movies in the order they were released.
Yeah. If you want to support us, you can do so on our Patreon page.
I have done
Patreon.com/Budget Arcade.
And you know what? I've not seen one red cent. Don't yeah me. At the very least, I'm going to pitch my other projects. And Mark says I never yell at Scott.
I think Mark enjoyed that a little too much.
I mean, it's nice. It's nice. It's nice when the ire is directed at
It's good when
somebody
the
else.
shoe's on the other foot, isn't it? I'll try more.
Hey, listen, that's all I ask is you try.
Our music is provided by Stimage. You can download his music at metroidmetal.com. And game on.
Imagineville Podcast Network.
The future of gaming is already here, and it's powered by crypto. Buy games, stream, and unlock exclusive content through the GMR Center, and tune into the GMR Zone podcast wherever you prefer to listen. Learn more at gmr.finance.